let's get into tech tools. One of the things I like talking about, because in the last 5 years, there has been so many tools that is in the market for so many things. So the field of M&E now leverages on some of these tools to carry out tasks that are related to monitoring and evaluation. And you can think about a whole lot of value chain of carrying out monitoring and evaluation. So don't forget, right from the inception meeting, in fact, maybe right from putting together the proposals, there are tech tools that you can use, not to even talk of artificial intelligence, the use of artificial intelligence now to put together so many things. So if you think about right from pre-contracting to the point at which you complete either monitoring or evaluation, or do post activities, or do after action reviews of your monitoring or your evaluation, there are several tools that are available to you. Of course, the context of this discussion is not looking at all these tools. No, it's just to discuss some of the things you can think about and also share some of those tools that are readily available. You see this list that you have, just put them on Google. It will take you to the website of some of these tools, and you can learn a whole lot of how they are being used. So we'll just discuss some of the things you need to consider when using tech tools for data collection, for data analysis, because there's a whole lot of them at the moment. And that's why if you see this list, for example, we added ETC because there are a whole lot of tools that are not here. You can be counting up to 50 tools for data collection alone. So just to mention that data collection is one of the components of a monitoring and evaluation system. So when you think about data on its own, then you think about data management system. When you think about data management system, you want to start thinking about from sourcing, data sourcing, to data collation, to data collection, to data validation, to data analysis, to data publishing, right? And data use. That's the whole value chain. Today, we're just taking out two of this project management and data management process. But however, you can actually place some of these tools in any of those other data management process. So data collection, of course, maybe some of you already know. There's KoBoCollect, there's Survey CTO, there is the Maggie ComCare, there is GoLocal, there is Iwadi, there is Survey Monkey. So I mean, KoBoCollect is useful if your method is survey, at times observation, you can put it on a mobile phone. Also, Survey CTO is a mobile, can be accessed via mobile phone. ComCare also on your tablets, Android tablets. GoLocal, also a web platform at the moment. Iwadi is an app that you can use for data collection. There is Survey Monkey, which you have on the web. It's available on the web. I'm not sure if it's now available on mobile phone, but it should be, because most of these tools now are like being designed for mobile, because a whole lot of people access or uses these tools via mobile phone. You'll see some of the things that I'll mention earlier on, things to consider. There's Mentimeter, which is a web platform that you can use to engage beneficiaries, partners, clients, your respondents, especially to focus discussions. I think we use this for online focus group discussions. You can use Mentimeter. There is the popular Google Forms. So on your Google, if you're using Gmail, I mean, there's a form there that you can just they've used to design a form and share with respondents that are available online. Yes, share with respondents that are available online. There is, you can also use Google Forms offline, which is you just printing out the online Google form, taking it offline, using it to get respondents' responses in person, and the data collectors or the evaluator then imputes the response on the main Google form. There is Microsoft Excel. Yes, Microsoft Excel. You can design it also to collect data as well. So you can imagine that you can use Microsoft Excel to collect data. But I mean, all these tools have their own limitations. They have their own advantages. So you can explore a whole lot of them. You can keep, there's now the voice responses, right? Where you have IAMO, for example, where you can just take random phone calls, and call different numbers and carry out interviews. There are SMS technologies also embedded in them that can easily use SMS and SMS people via mobile phone and tell them to respond to questions. So there's a whole lot of these tools around. And that's for data collection alone. Also to mention that some of these tools does data analysis by themselves. And also to think that they do it automatically. As responses are getting in, they are already analyzing the data for you. So there are some tools like that. And you can think about your Google Forms. Yes, if you use a Google form online or offline, which has been imputed, it can analyze your data for you automatically, especially where there are no double entries. There's Microsoft Excel, which is available to everybody to do analysis, whether it's descriptive analysis or inferential statistics analysis. So Staffer also is available. SPSS is an available tool for analysis. Once you start getting into, yes, you can use this for descriptive analysis also, and you can also use them for inferential statistics analysis as well. So I've also added ETC here because, like I said, there are a number of tools that you can think about for carrying out analysis. And these are tools that you can make use of. And yeah, your Excel is here, so don't be surprised that we still use Excel for analyzing either quantitative or qualitative data. Google Forms for quantitative or qualitative data. Stata, SPSS, quantitative data. You have, so some of the ones you will know for qualitative data analysis, in vivo, Delve, which is available online. And you can use, when you collaborate across, maybe you have 3 different people working on the analysis, you can use Delve. You have also Max QDA that you can also use as a standalone software, not necessarily available online, you know. So think about all these different tools that you need to use. So I'll pivot on some of the things to consider when using some of these tools. User friendliness. So most times when we use these tools, what it means is that there are large, so it's for large scale projects. You're thinking about beneficiaries of up to over 1,000, 2,000, 3,000, you know. At times, they might just be 500. Now, one person, one evaluator cannot or might not be able to use some of these technology tools, you know, to aid their work, to get response, to do data collection or analysis. Let's leave it at data collection at this time. So you need data collectors to use those tools. So you always need to think about your data collectors and if they can use those tools. And this is the point where trainings are very important when you are hiring data collectors to help to collect responses. Very, very important. You need to conduct that training. You need to put them through, you know, how to use those technology in collecting responses. Not only that, you want to think, I mean, training involves so many things, the security that you need to consider, you know. So user friendliness, how friendliness it is. So you as the lead or as the manager, and especially those that would use it in the field. Very, very important for you to consider. Will it work? Is the place they are going to? Do you think they will have internet? If not, what is the importance of the offline version of some of these tools? For example, Google Form is available online. You can only do a makeshift of it and make the paper format available offline. Kobo Collect, Survey CTO, they are available offline, which means where there are no internet, it can be used. But once they get back to where there's internet, it uploads automatically online to a server, you know. So these are things you need to consider in choosing the tech tools you might want to use. There is a discussion that normally goes on during kickoff meetings with commissioners. So those are the people that have contracted to carry out monitoring or evaluation on the type of tools you want to use. There are so many interesting conversations that come up, especially if you're using proprietary tools or open source tools. So where you need to think about things related to data protection. So, so think about friendliness, support that you will get in using those tools. So internally, which means that within your team, do you have someone who will quickly provide support based on that tool that you're using? Now, not only support for you, but also support for the enumerators or data collectors that are in the field. That's one way to look at the support you will get for that tool. The other way to look at it is the owners of the tools. How much support can they provide to you when you deploy in the field? For example, when 20 enumerators inform you that, oh, they cannot have access to their platform on their mobile phone. If you do not, if you've tried internally on fixing that issue, will the external, will the owner of, because now you're a third party using the tool, would you quickly get support from the owners of those tools? Very, very important thing to think about. Then you can think about the features that are on the tools that you're using. For example, if the commissioner needs a georeference data, for example, it might be that health facilities, you have care workers as part of the respondents to your evaluation in health facilities, and you have been tasked to georeference the health facilities where you have taken your responses from. So it means it's important that you use a tool that can tag the specific place where you are carrying out the interview. So you think about a tool that can allow you to georeference, right? That allows you to get the longitude and longitude of the position of where you're carrying out interviews or where facilities are. So a geographic information system enabled tool will be what you will need for data collection. So in that sense, you're already thinking about, oh, okay, maybe your KoBoCollect can do that for you, you know. So also validations, automatic validations. And I think this is one of the greatest things that technology tools, most of these technology tools you have are done, validating responses immediately. Other than paper version, you know, when paper versions were still in vogue, we still use it for some evaluations, but it means that people can respond. So it's either people are responding directly to the paper, or you have a data collector who is imputing responses. In that case, for example, when you have age, and you're supposed to take the age by dates, year, months, date, month, and year. Someone who is using paper can give you that month in words, like, okay, maybe January. But what tech has done for you is that, yeah, when you see date, month, and year, you can only impute date, month, and year. If you don't impute it correctly, you can't move to the next question. So you have those auto validations built into some of these tech tools, and you want to look at the extent at which each and every one of them can do that. Also logic models. If you have done A, skip this question, which one allows you to easily do that? For example, Google Form might not give you that opportunity to use logic models, especially if your questions would have those logics, people skipping a part, a section of a question to another one. Then you need to move out and look for another tool, like SurveyMonkey, which is huge on that, KoBoCollect, which does that as well, SurveyCTO. So you also need to think about integrations. If you're using some of these tools, how easy will it be to download them, especially at data collection? So how easy it is for you to quickly get an Excel version of it, because most times you still go into a Microsoft Excel for you to run analysis, right? Or you don't stay on Microsoft Excel, you shift it to SPSS to run. So you want to think about how some of these tools can allow you to download responses easily and for you to make use of them, analyze it, and pass on to another system. Also, integrations could be for it to be available in so many other kind of platforms. So Google Form, quickly getting into doing analysis. From those analyses, the charts, you can quickly move the charts into a PowerPoint and present to your commissioners. These are some of the things you need to consider when thinking about the particular tool you're going to be using. Is the tool easily available? Do I need to download? So you now have freemiums everywhere, like the free version of a tool, before you get, okay, the real one that can do. So some might tell you, oh, you can only do 10 respondents. Until you make payments, you cannot do more than 10 respondents. And you have some that are free, or like it can give you 10,000 respondents. This version will give you 10,000 respondents for free. So you need to think about that very well. For example, some of you know that we use Zoom for data collection. If you know, during interviews, you can use it to collect data. There's a free version, which is free format, open source, which is 45 minutes. There are some that are like customized for you. So you need to think about that also. The ones that are pro, which allows you to speak for 2 hours, without, and also record, So think about all this open source. Some you need it, some you cannot use an iOS device. You need an Android device. So you need to think about how accessible some of this is, and don't think about yourself alone. Also think about your data collectors as well, how you will quickly be able to make it also accessible to them. It's very, very important. And I think this discussion of open source also is some of the things related to data protection, which is something very, very important now, that commissioners consider the tool you're using, making sure that it is not a tool that the risk level for protecting responses is high. So you will have this discussion during the inception. So let me wrap up. Scale, yes, and I think I've mentioned this earlier on. Some tools can just do for 10 respondents. Some can do for 1 million respondents. You need to think about that very well. Most importantly, cost. How much do you have to conduct the monitoring and evaluation? If you go for VIAMO, which is internet voice response, how much do you have versus the size of your respondents, the sample size of the respondent? You need to think about this very well, the cost of it. If you don't have that much money, then it means you cannot use that kind of a tool. For example, Survey CTO versus KoBoCollect. You will know that KoBoCollect is more affordable than Survey CTO. Excel is available everywhere, almost available. It is now, how do you make use of it efficiently, Google Forms, of course, is available on your Gmail. You will see it. So it's free, but also to know that some people pay the paid version. But you need to consider all these things. Zoom also, there is a free version. If your interview will not be more than 30 minutes and you don't need to record, or you will use another recorder, you think about that. If you are going to have more than like a 1 hour interview, then you want to get the paid version, or you want to use your mobile phone to collect data. So also, if you're using tools like Zoom, you need to also consider, especially all these voice calls, consider your respondents also, would they easily make use of Zoom also, or is WhatsApp call? Now there are WhatsApp calls, but you also think, oh, I'm going to record. How am I going to record? You need to consider all these things. And I think one bottom line is, and I'm going to wrap up on that, whatever tool you have decided to use, test it with your colleagues, with your teammates, with a sample of those that will be responding or using that tool. Very, very important. So that you have the allowance to look at it, tweak, think of another tool, and tweak some things you have learned from the test you have done. I'm going to stop there at this time and see if we have some questions. Otherwise, I think we are almost getting to our time mark. But there are references on this. You're going to see it on the YouTube when we share the YouTube channel. So these are some of sessions you can go to YouTube and watch how to use. So these are full videos that you can latch on and use, especially KoBoToolbox, how to use it, how to deploy. So from the deployer side to the user side, spatial analysis using the QGIS, how to use EpiData, which is also another tool as well. So please, you can feel free to make use of some of these references. Let's see. So on that note, I'd say thank you so much.